What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. I hope you all enjoyed your holiday this week. My name is Lucas Wenzel, and today we are talking about 10 players that you should be looking to stash ahead of this weekend slate and ahead of next week's waivers as well. With 8 teams having already played this week, we're getting a little bit thin, but before we dive into the list, if you want a chance at winning a glorious 36-inch fantasy championship trophy for your league, courtesy of our good friends at Trophy Smack, the #1 destination for epic fantasy tournament trophies, you need to subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now, drop a comment below on this video, and that is it. We will be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure to turn on those notifications so you can come claim your prize. Kicking off our list in back-to-back weeks is New Orleans Saints rookie wide receiver Atay Perry, who's rostered in 3% of leagues. Michael Thomas left early in week 10 and was officially placed on IR earlier this week with what Coach Dennis Allen called a fairly significant knee issue. After Thomas left in week 10 though, it wasn't Rashid Shaheed that came in and took the snaps. It was actually Atay Perry who led the entire team in snaps after MT's departure. He garnered 4 targets on those snaps. With Michael Thomas being sidelined for at least 4 weeks and potentially beyond, there is a great chance Atay Perry steps up as the wide receiver 2 in this New Orleans Saints offense and carves out a fantasy relevant role for himself. Next up is Tennessee Titans rookie running back TaiJ Spears, who's rostered in 39% of leagues. Derrick Henry has been held in check in back-to-back weeks against the Jaguars and Buccaneers, and in reality, this Titans offense has stalled out since Levis's 4-touchdown game. That being said, the schedule lightens up for the Titans coming up. They draw Carolina and Indianapolis in their next 2 games, and then they play Houston twice and Seattle between weeks 15 and 17. Spears has drawn 4+ targets in 7 of 10 games this year, and if Derrick Henry does miss any time down the stretch, Spears will inherit a bell cow role. He is a must stash that also flashes standalone value. Our next stash is Rashod Bateman, wide receiver for the Baltimore Ravens, who's rostered in 18% of leagues. There is a massive opportunity for Bateman to step up in this Ravens offense while the injury bug makes its rounds. Mark Andrews is done for the year with an ankle injury, Zay Flowers didn't practice earlier this week with a hip injury, and Odell Beckham Jr. is dealing with a shoulder injury. Now it does appear OBJ has a chance of playing in week 12, and it's worth tracking Zay Flowers' status, but Bateman has the opportunity to take on a bigger role. He has a great stretch of matchups as well, drawing the Chargers, Rams, Jaguars, 49ers, Dolphins, and Steelers rest of season. The third rookie on our stash list this week is Chicago Bears running back Roshan Johnson, who's rostered in 20% of leagues. The Bears running back room this year has felt like a carousel I really don't want to ride, but there's a few things to consider here. First, even though Khalil Herbert returned off IR in week 11, he didn't look like his previous explosive self. That may come back again with time, but this also presents a great opportunity for Roshan Johnson to step up. It also helps that Deonta Foreman is dealing with ankle and shin injuries. He has yet to practice as of this recording, and the path is slowly opening up for Roshan Johnson to lead this backfield with Justin Fields back under center as well. My tight end stash of the week is Michael Mayer of the Las Vegas Raiders, who's rostered in 11% of leagues. Mayer may finally be starting to come into his own as he's drawn 5 targets in each of his last 2 games. His snap share has yet to dip below 80% over the last 4 weeks, even hitting a 91% snap share back in week 8. Even going all the way back to week 5 when Mayer first started getting involved more, he's been 2nd in yards per route run and 1st in yards after catch at the tight end position. We may see fellow rookie Aiden O'Connell beginning to trust Mayer more as his safety blanket over the middle, and I'm always willing to stash tight ends with the kind of upside Mayer possesses. Coming in next is Los Angeles Chargers wide receiver Joshua Palmer, who's rostered in 27% of leagues. Palmer can't come off IR until week 13, that's why we're going to look at stashing him now before your league mates do. Prior to landing on IR, Palmer had 4 straight games of 7+ targets and 60+ receiving yards. He finished as a top 35 wide receiver 3 times in that stretch, including a top 10 finish in week 7. In his absence, nobody has truly threatened his role as the wide receiver 2 for Justin Herbert either. Quentin Johnston was a top candidate, but after 2 really bad drops against Green Bay, any optimism has completely bottomed out. Jalen Guyton returned to potentially step up, and he's been dealing with a groin injury now. Palmer's schedule rest of season is fairly stingy, but with matchups against Denver, Buffalo, and Kansas City, his number may need to be called on down the stretch. Up next is New England Patriots running back Ezekiel Elliot, who's rostered in 40% of leagues. In Week 10, Zeke posted a season-high 88 yards en route to finishing as a top 25 running back for the 4th time this year. Typically, this Patriots offense isn't one I'd want to target, but there could be some change that favors Zeke in this offense. First and foremost, as of this recording, we still have zero clue who's going to start at quarterback for the Patriots in Week 12. Whether it is Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi, though, the run game might be the only thing going somewhat right for this Patriots team. That could fare well for Zeke down the stretch, considering the Patriots draw juicy matchups with the Giants, Chargers, Steelers, Broncos, Bills, and Jets in 6 of their last 7 games. The next player we're going to talk about is Arizona Cardinals wide receiver Rondale Moore, who's rostered in 16% of leagues. First, it was 8 targets in Kyler's return in Week 10. Now last week they connected on his lone target for a 48-yard touchdown. Despite not knowing entirely what Rondale's involvement will be week to week in this offense, he clearly flashes upside that should be stashed on your roster. He's playing a consistent 65 to 75% of the snaps every week, and the rest of season schedule is absolutely wonderful. After the Rams in Week 12, he draws the Steelers, 49ers, Bears, and Eagles, who are all top 10 in fantasy points allowed to wide receivers this year. Another Arizona Cardinal you should consider stashing is running back Michael Carter, who's rostered in 2% of leagues. Yes, Michael Carter is now an Arizona Cardinal after he was waived by the Jets post Week 10. He was a healthy scratch in Week 11, but that shouldn't be a surprise as he only had a few days with the team and needed more time to get acclimated to the Cardinals offense. On the cover, Carter doesn't possess a lot of upside, but I'm looking at him as more of a handcuff for James Conner, who notoriously struggles with injuries. With Carter's pass catching upside as well, he could rotate in on 3rd down and 2-minute drills, just as we saw towards the end of his tenure with the Jets. In a deep league, Carter's worth a stash, especially if you're a James Conner manager. Wrapping out our stash list this week is Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Justin Watson, who's rostered in 3% of leagues. The Chiefs' offense has been sputtering, and their lack of attention to the wide receiver position appears to be catching up with them. However, your fun fact of the week is that Justin Watson drew 11 targets against the Eagles on Monday Night Football last week. He also drew 5 targets in Week 9 prior to their bye as well. And while it might seem like we're just chasing Week 11 output against a team that struggles to defend wideouts, I think there's some hidden upside here if the Chiefs need to get their act together to solidify their spot in the postseason. It's by no means a sexy stash, but in a deeper league, I'd be willing to stash Watson to see how sticky his Week 11 performance was. Alrighty, y'all, that is all I have for you today. Remember, if you want a chance at winning a glorious 36-inch fantasy championship trophy for your league, courtesy of our good friends over at Trophy Smack, the #1 destination for epic fantasy tournament trophies, you need to subscribe to the FantasyPros YouTube channel right now, drop a comment below on this video, and that is it. That is all you need to do. We will be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure to turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and so you can come claim your prize.